Hello and welcome back to this channel. I am your host Edikan Obot and this is Isaac News. Today on Isaac News, we're going to be looking at the NLNG Train 7. Okay, NLNG stands for Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas. So Nigeria has more gas than oil. So from the 60s, when we began to drill oil and leading up to the 70s, the oil boom, as an economy, as a nation, we have exploited our oil reserves and have sold oil and have been known as an oil producing giant. At the same time, we have neglected the abundance of gas present in our oil wells. As we speak right now, the amount of Nigeria's proven gas reserve is over 206 trillion cubic feet of gas. 206 trillion cubic feet of gas. That's our proven gas reserve. What that means is the amount of gas we have discovered by checking our oil wells. We've not even checked some other regions, and we are still carrying out more explorations in our country. But as we speak now, at the level of exploration, as at the year 2022, our proven gas reserves is about 206 trillion cubic feet of gas. It is why we are trying our best to diversify and to pay more attention on gas, because gas would bring us more money than oil has and could ever do. So our focus today is on the NLNG Train 7. I'd like you to stick with me and enjoy the rest of today's video. All right, to give you a little background to this project, the Nigerian LNG Train 7 project is an ongoing expansion of the Nigerian liquefied natural gas terminal at Bonny Island.
We're here at the Ajaokuta Kaduna Kano gas pipeline, much awaited project. Can you just dimension this project against the larger move of President Muhammadu Buhari to pivot the nation really from oil to gas in many ways?
And most importantly, this is a key project for the country because it will deliver 2 billion scope of gas into the pipeline. It will debottleneck the east and the west so that as a result of this, you can have up to 8 billion scope of gas in our domestic pipeline. This means that it's a revolution because you can have gas to power, you can have gas to industry, and overall it will create all the economic opportunities that this country will require for development and for growth. And we are very proud that this project, President's signature project, will be delivered. The target of this project is the domestic market. It has potential to be extended across the Sahara into other regions.
Right.
But more than this, we are doing other things. We are doing the Nigeria Trans-Morocco pipeline. This will also key into this initiative so that we can deliver the enormous gas resources available in our country into the global market. And not just EU, where we're going to supply gas to the whole market, and it's a perfect opportunity for our country.
So what would you say to Nigerians concerned about saboteurs? How strong are your pipelines against potential sabotage?
The pipeline is designed to make it difficult to actually sabotage the pipeline itself when it's finished. The true situation is that we, first of all, we not only weld these pipelines, we bury them, and they are 2.4, 2.5 meters deep. That makes it difficult. But besides that, we put signs to tell everybody that this is a gas pipeline. Gas pipeline is dangerous. Even sabotaging it is dangerous for the person, dangerous for the community, dangerous for everybody. It's not oil pipeline. So sabotage is something that nobody should think of. But besides that, we have, together with this pipeline, we build what we call fiber optic system. The fiber optic cable that we lay with this, we can use it, and we use it for threat detection, for sabotage detection, and for general telecommunication.
If you're joining us, I am Edikan Obot, your host, and this is Isaac News. And on today's video, we're looking at the NLNG Train 7. All right. The NLNG Train 7 is a huge project that is estimated to cost about $10 billion. A major objective of this project is to help in the bottlenecking of the existing 6 trains and to also increase processing capacity to about 30 metric tons per annum. So we have a very bottleneck gas system because it's very infantile, it's very young, and a lot of attention had not been paid, or adequate attention had not been paid to the gas sector. So there are a lot of bottlenecks here and there. There are hitches. There's lack of automation in the system, or adequate automation. There's lack of separation of certain arms, to allow for efficiency in the whole running of our oil and gas sector. A lot of what this administration is doing right now is to remove those bottlenecks by setting up laws, bringing reforms and acts. Like we have the PIA Act, we have the PIB Act, we have a lot of bodies coming up to separate, and to major on more specific things, just to narrow down their approach. And instead of having this broad approach or broad coverage of things, we're trying to narrow it down and to be more specific, so that we can be more detailed in our report of the things going on, in the economy in general. So upon completion of the NLNG Train 7, it would increase Nigeria's liquefied natural gas output by 35%, from the current 22 metric tons per annum to about 30 metric tons per annum.
We are also expecting additional investments now. With the PIA, we are expecting that there is a lot more interest in the investment sector. And also, to also say that the Russia-Ukraine problem has also introduced a new dimension. Sure. Now, everybody seems to have realized that there is still a future for oil and gas. Absolutely. Now. And there is also a need for an alternative to supplies from Russia. So there is some appetite now, a new appetite that I see. Exactly, a new momentum for investment in Nigeria. So we see that a lot is going to happen in the sector in the coming months.
Moving on to gas, we know that you have kind of been the face in recent times of this pivot from oil to gas in terms of exploiting gas resources in the country for Nigerian economic expansion. Can you just give us a sense of what informs President Muhammadu Buhari's determination to invest billions of dollars in gas projects, from the AKK pipeline to the NLNG Train 7 to ELPS and OB3 and so many others?
President Muhammadu Buhari will tell you from his time as Minister of Petroleum, he will always tell you that they had always known that Nigeria was more of a gas territory with some oil in it. And that is true. We have a lot more gas than we have oil. Unfortunately, we have really harnessed our gas resources. And for us, we now realize that gas actually has the easiest linkage with the economy, and has also the capacity, a better capacity to create more jobs. For example, I'll give you examples. You bring gas in. Everything in this room has to do with gas. Even your camera, all the plastics, all the synthetics you can find is from petrochemicals. Petrochemicals from gas. Now you have agriculture. Agriculture, you want to feed your population. Fertilizer, the only input in the production of fertilizer is gas. Gas, fertilizer. You want to now expand into the pharmaceutical industry. Gas, methanol, produce a lot of chemicals that's useful in the chemical industry, in the pharmaceutical industry. And you can imagine, if you have petrochemical industries, you have fertilizer plants. The other day, just a few days ago, we commissioned the Dangote fertilizer plant. And if you ask him, he will tell you that all his production is being booked years ahead. So the market is still very much there, has a big appetite for this. So President Buhari realized that this is the way to go. If you want to diversify your economy, this is the way to go. And that's why we are really focused on gas, and we declared this decade the decade of gas.
Your Excellency, in terms of providing, and you referenced it earlier, we're obviously living in a very interesting geopolitical climate in which you have Western Europe now looking almost desperately for an alternative to Russian gas. And we know that part of the vision of the Nigerian gas industry for some years now, that is now finally being implemented by Mr. President, is to be that alternative. And with the West African gas pipeline and the potential it has to pass through Morocco into Western Europe, and then of course the Trans-Saharan pipeline through the Sahara up to Algeria to Western Europe, what is the status of progress on these critical pipelines in terms of positioning us for the future?
We're making good progress with the Nigeria-Morocco pipeline. We've almost gotten through with the feasibility studies. And I'm supposed to take something to FEC for approval. Mr. President has approved it, and it will be probably at FEC by next week. So we're making very steady progress on that. The President is very keen on that project, and the King of Morocco as well is quite keen on that project. So we're taking that project, as you just said, from the West African gas pipeline, which today ends in Ghana, and we are going to stretch it from Ghana through Senegal all the way to Morocco. Of course, the Trans-Saharan gas pipeline has also made a lot of progress. In fact, the AKK is part of the Trans-Saharan pipeline. Initially, in the initial plan, the Trans-Saharan pipeline was supposed to originate from Akwa Ibom. But now we've already taken the AKK all the way. We are taking all the way to Kano. So 614 kilometers already is being embarked on. So we can call it part of the Trans-Saharan pipeline. It's already being done. So we want to take the pipeline all the way to the end of Nigeria. So what that will do for us is to create a backbone for development. If you have a commodity, you need to sell that commodity. If there is gas in the Niger Delta, and there is market for this gas in the north, then we must move the gas from the Niger Delta to the market.
Powering textile industries, etc.
Exactly. So the whole idea is to take the gas and take it to the place where the market also exists, so that, of course, every part of Nigeria will enjoy the gas, and the people who produce it will also enjoy, because there is now market for their product. They can now produce more. And then from Kano, we are taking it again to another place that needs this product. We're taking all the way to Algeria, and of course connecting to the Algeria network that will take the gas all the way to Western Europe. So like you said, of course, Europe is quite hungry for our gas as an alternative, and we are hoping that we'll be able to take that position very quickly. We are having a lot more investment. Of course, the PIA is enabling a lot of investment in the gas production sector. But a lot of our gas initially had been stranded because of the lack of infrastructure. Yes, exactly. You have the gas, but the gas is stranded because you can't move it out. So with this infrastructure being built, it will be able to harness a lot of our gas and put in this infrastructure. So it will be a good time even for the Niger Delta, because we'll be able to take the gas from the Niger Delta to market, gas that will otherwise have been trapped or stranded, as we call it.
With a portion of that, of course, coming back to the communities within the framework of the PIA.
Of course, definitely.
This takes me naturally to an issue of concern, of course, to the people of the Niger Delta, which is the issue of local content and indigenous, company engagement in the region. What is your assessment overall of the moves undertaken by President Muhammadu Buhari's administration in terms of really prioritizing and empowering Nigerian companies to really kind of take up the mantle in terms of a partnership with the Nigerian oil and gas industry at large?
Yeah, in fact, we have really made a lot of progress, I must say. I mean, if we compare to where we're coming from, we've made a lot of progress. At this moment, we've taken local content, local participation in the industry from 3% to over 30%. And our target is to take it to 70% within in the next 3 to 4 years, 2027. So we're expecting to take local content to 70%. So the communities are now getting engaged in the productive activities. And now, in addition, the marginal field program. The marginal field program also is to create that opportunity for locals to be involved in the production as well. So some of these fields which have been abandoned or considered marginal by the big companies are now taken from them and given to local people who can produce. And of course, that has become very successful. And of course, the Buhari administration has also giving out a lot of these marginal fields.
Your Excellency, I think one of the most underreported aspects of President Muhammadu Buhari's intervention as it relates to local content is the development and establishment of these Nigerian oil and gas parks, the no-gap scheme. The idea that we can maximize the impact of large-scale projects in the region on small MSMEs in the region who can benefit directly. Can you just give some insight into how that works?
Yeah, we have, that is an initiative of the NCDMB. I can assure you that we've already completed some of the first phase of this program, and by last quarter this year, the first 2 will be commissioned. And what the No Gaps parks are doing is to have parks where you can produce some of the basic components of the oil industry. A situation where we are importing every nut and bolt is not sustainable. So we are already discussing with original equipment manufacturers who will come and partner with Nigerians and in those parks and produce within Nigeria for the industry. So this is actually going to be like an incubation center. And we're quite hopeful that over the years we'll be able to be a big player in this sector of the service sector. If you go to countries like Norway, the service sector is competing favorably with the production sector.
Incredible.
In fact, sometimes the service sector earns more money for the country than the production sector.
Your Excellency, that really reminds of the fact that President Muhammadu Buhari signed into effect the Presidential Executive Order 11 on public infrastructural maintenance, particularly around government buildings and other public assets. I had a recent conversation with His Excellency Babatunde Fashola, and he was saying that it's not just about having a culture of maintenance, it's about building an economy around maintenance. And you're speaking to that in the oil and gas sector, that our people can actually maintain our assets.
Because there's a whole economy around maintenance. But unfortunately, we've really overlooked that. Maintenance should be a culture, but being a culture, it also becomes an economy. And that's really what was lacking and we're trying to introduce. So if you have this kind of parks producing this equipment for the industry, it will become easier for us to maintain facilities. Some of the accidents that we have in the industry will also not happen because a lot of those accidents are due to lack of maintenance. And of course, if you want to maintain a facility and you are waiting for the maintenance crew to come from Europe, and maybe at a time when you have a pandemic, then you have a problem. Absolutely. Because there's a lockdown in Europe, the maintenance crew cannot come. And of course, the problem is worsening. So you have a situation now where you have the people who can maintain these facilities within the country. So at least your maintenance program can move hitch-free. And of course, that will be exactly. So that is going to create a lot of opportunities also, because in the industry, maintenance work is also a lot of job. I mean, it creates a lot of opportunity, creates a lot of value. So that is going to create another economy, and also we'll be happy to have it as a culture also in Nigeria, so that we can maintain. Because a lot of our facilities that are deteriorating are not because they are not they are too old. Most of the time is because of the lack of maintenance. So we're beginning to now introduce this maintenance culture. And with this executive order, I believe that that will soon become part of the culture.
Now, this is a beautiful one. This is a beautiful one because right now we're trying to capitalize on the energy demand right now in Europe. So, due to the Russia-Ukraine crisis, which no one could have predicted a couple years ago, a lot of Western Europe are looking for an alternative to gas, and Nigeria is trying its best to position itself to be that alternative in order to make money from the whole gas demand in Europe right now. The money we can make from gas amounts to trillions of dollars. Hear me and hear me carefully. Trillions of dollars. In fact, I read a report that said that we had the ability to make the amount of money we can make from exploring gas is huge. It's humongous. It is why we are diversifying quickly and try to establish our oil and gas sector as firm as we can. Our gas industry has the potential to bring us trillions of dollars on a yearly basis. Trillions of dollars on a yearly basis. It has the, if I may say, hugest potential in any other sector of our economy. It is huge and untapped. A lot is being put, together to ensure that we become that global player we desire to be, and we become that alternative that Europe right now, is seeking us to be. Because a lot of countries have come down to Nigeria to encourage us to, speed up our gas infrastructure, our gas project, so that they can begin to buy gas from us. So this is where we're going to end for today's episode of the video. I trust that you enjoyed the things you heard. So we see you again. Godspeed.